Hello there everyone, and welcome back to my next episode playing on the Realm of Vasten server. I am Mar, and I have done only a little bit since our last episode. Namely, I have brought up all of the 27 villagers that we had cured. So we had one up here at the end of last episode. I brought the other 26 up. Managed to get everybody crammed into these little boxes. Kind of scattered all over. They were just kind of dispersed wherever they felt like it. I built this little shaft here to sort of just channel them from the water elevator in this direction, so I could try and keep them more or less contained while I work on other things around the library. I think right here would be a good place to essentially like get them there. Nope. Not over there next to the villagers. Don't you dare. I figured that would be as good a place as any, basically, to give them their professions and whatnot. So I'll probably work on the trading stuff over there, and while they're out there and more or less out of the way, it'll give us a chance to come up with something for inside the library. Because I ran around for a little while, and I guess I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that having villagers just wandering around the library loose, even if they have trades we don't care about, it's gonna kind of be a potential problem. I have temporarily, you know, blocked these staircases off, and I put the fences there so they can't wander outside the library. The one that I had brought up last episode, I found him wandering over there, so he was safe and whatnot. I guess he eventually left the fountain, but for the first little bit, he would just constantly run up the stairs and then just do that, and then he would run over here, go back up the stairs again. Of course, that's before I put the barrier up, and he'd just do that again. Or he'd be in here, and he'd just be swimming around in the fountain, and I'm afraid of what happens when he gets like this, because they're automatic. What they automatically try to do is to swim upwards, and goodness knows they're gonna, you know, do something silly like that, and then it's goodbye villagers. And if somehow they manage to climb all the way up the staircase, and go all the way up here, and somehow pathfind all the way to the second or higher floors, I mean, what's to stop them from basically just being la-di-da-di-da-di-da, woo, splat, and then it's a dead villager, you know? Or they could do that up there, and they could walk out onto the walkways that they go from the main tower to one of the other smaller towers, and jump off of that, or, you know, they could climb into the water elevator in these towers and maybe get stuck and suffocate or drown. Or, I mean, there is just, this is a death trap. I have crafted a villager death trap, and I'm trying to find ways to remedy that, and I just can't think of any. Like, potentially, what I could do is to try and ensure that they can't leave the first level. That would mean we could do whatever we want upstairs and it wouldn't matter. But I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I stop villagers from going up these stairs without it looking, you know, tacky, basically? And, okay, so maybe we don't block it. How would we villager-proof everything else? I would have to redesign the railings so that they can't just walk off. I would have to redesign those railings there, which means I'd have to redesign the lighting, because in most places it's barely lit up there with the way it is. If I raise these blocks up further, it's going to be even less lit, so I'd have a lighting problem suddenly. Outside on the railings, I would have similar problems as in these railings here, because it's essentially the same design, you know, upstairs from one tower to another tower. And then in the towers themselves, and then up further, I mean, there's just so much villager proofing. I mean, they could walk out here, they could, you know, jump the cliff. You know, there's just so many different ways that a villager could die in this library, and I honestly think that it's probably too much work to try and redesign it to villager-proof it. And since I wanted the librarians with the good trades to be kind of contained anyway, partially just so we can find them, if we're like, you know, you come in and you want the mending villager, you want to be able to find him, right? You don't want to have to be like, are you it? Are you it? Are you, you know, like, where among these 60 villagers do I find the mending villager, you know? So I think since I'm going to have the good villager trades contained anyway, probably in little booths or something like that, probably similar to what they are over here, only obviously they would be more well designed. They'd have, you know, lecterns and barrels and stuff like that, and crates and all these more interesting designs. Maybe use some barrier blocks just to keep them from escaping, wandering around, whatever. If I'm going to go that far and do that to these villagers, then if the villagers who ultimately have bad trades, if they die, I mean, who really cares, you know? That's kind of what I'm thinking about it. So, in light of that, I think I'm going to kind of skip the whole villager proofing of most of the library until, well, not even until, just like period. So I guess this can come down. Not gonna need it, right? Oops, nope, I'm breaking things I didn't want to be breaking. Put that back. And I'll just have to come up with a design here in the main library floor for them all. And I don't really know what that is yet. I have a couple ideas, of course, but I don't know for sure. And I also want to make sure that there's plenty of bookshelves in here as well, because, you know, it is a library. It's not just a villager trading hall, or a impromptu, like, barn, I guess. So I'm gonna have to come up with a design for the bookshelves and the villager booths and all of that sort of stuff, and get that, and then somehow transport them into their booths. Now, as far as the booths are concerned, I think I want to wait until after I've actually gotten these guys with the trades that I want them to have. That way, it is easier. Like I'll get them locked into being a villager that way, or I mean into being like a librarian. That way they can't detect potential other things out there. And then I'll just, you know, one by one move them over there, give them their lectern or whatever, and make sure that they assign themselves to that lectern so that they can't, you know, so that they aren't confused in trying to pathfind to another lectern or whatever. I think I want to, but basically what I want to do is I want to do all the trading over here to get them where they need to be, and then transport them. And that way I can just keep on filling these grids with more and more villagers, and I mean, maybe I might have to spread them out a little bit so that they don't try to take the adjacent villagers, you know, crafting block and whatever. And then I can move these this huge canal, or chanat. What is the word? I'm trying to pronounce it all wrong. Words are difficult, aren't they? Canal or channel, depending on which way you want to go with it. So let me work on the villagers for a little bit. I don't think I really want to do any more villager curing until I get these guys taken care of. So I need to get out my lecterns, and I need to have a bit of a talk with these villagers about, about where we're going to go with this. So let me get at that, and I'll be back in a while. Well, I've been working at this for a little while now, and I think I've come up with what is essentially going to be the circulation desk, which for anybody who has been to a library, especially like a public library, is usually one of the first things you see when you come in. I guess that was kind of stupid to say. I imagine that's true of every library, public or not. But I worked at a public library for about 7 years, and it didn't look anything like this. But this is what I would imagine a nice, fancy one would look like. Well, probably much larger, but we don't really need it to be larger for our purposes. I've got a lectern here. There's a book here. It's going to be the library catalog eventually. It's going to tell you where villagers are located, what villagers have which trades, how much they trade them for, and where the like stockpile of books is going to be located. Now, as for the villagers themselves, I've kind of closed off the section underneath the staircase here, with a combination of bookshelves, planks, stairs, and so on and so forth. And behind every single one of these trapdoors, there's a lectern, and that's where the villager's going to stand on the other side. And on this side of the staircase, it's pretty much the same thing going all the way around. Now, the only place that's kind of a sticky situation right now is this part right here, which is where the water elevator is. Eventually, when I finish with the villagers, you know, bringing them up and whatnot, I'll close this off and incorporate this into the rest of the design here. And if I ever need more villagers again in the future, then, I mean, I guess I'm kind of stuck, because it's like squarely where a village, or not where a villager actually, but it is squarely where I would need to be able to put solid blocks to keep the villagers in place, because the villagers would be standing on either side, in this column and then in this column. Now, I do have it covered, and to access it, you can get up there from either side. There's just some ladders here, so you can just climb up, and there's this little walking platform. This is on the lower half of the block, so it's spawn-proof. And then there's a little ladder here, which you can take to get down into the villager area itself. So the villagers will be standing into their little cubbies here, and then we're gonna put either full blocks or maybe barrier blocks up behind them so they stay put, which means you'll end up with pretty much like, I don't know, one block walking, a 1 block wide walking hallway here. Around the perimeter. Not that anybody should need to get in here. Once the villagers are in here, there should be zero need for anybody to ever come in here. You shouldn't, it's spawn proof in here. Once they're in place, you don't want to be moving them around. It's a nightmare to move villagers the first time, so nobody's going to want to do it again. So, you know, once the villagers are in there, we're probably pretty much done as far as that's concerned. I imagine once I get the villagers I want for the library section anyway, I'll just channel them through this stone area here, shove them into their respective cubbies, and seal it up. Which means I'm going to have to figure out something creative for this water stream to realign the output. Maybe put it over here or something where it's not quite so in the way. Which will be interesting because you guys know how crammed it is down there. Things are very tightly compacted down below with all the villager stuff down there. Now, for the enchantments themselves, they'll be in chests, of course. I'm not quite sure where I want them to be because it's not like we're going to have one trade per slot. Many of these trades will have we'll have villagers where they have multiple trades. We have a villager out there already who has the best, not like super best. I think one of them is like 4 emeralds or something. There's somebody over here. Where is he? Not on this side. He's on the other side. This guy over here in the corner has 4 different trades. Unbreaking, 3, Channeling, Infinity, and Aqua Affinity. 4 trades on one dude, and his trades aren't that bad. He's got, see, Unbreaking 3 is 3 emeralds, which is still a bargain, and then Channeling, Infinity, and Aqua Affinity for 1 emerald piece, for my trade prices anyway. So, because, you know, he's got 4 different trades on him at very good prices, all things considered, obviously, you know, he's gonna have just 1 slot, and that's gonna have all 4 trades right there. So at first I was thinking, well, maybe I could put like chests above their heads or something like that, but I just don't think I'll be able to do that effectively, considering, you know, how many of the villagers could end up with multiple trades. And that's actually how I'm ending up with quite a few duds out there. I've got several duds out here already, because I would trade with them, and then I'd find someone else with the same trade that was better, or it was or one dude had 2 trades, so I didn't need this guy anymore, even if the trade was equal. So I've got several duds already. So yeah, I will probably just end up putting the chest not really circling like all the way around, but part way around anyway. I'll probably just have chests going around back here, with labels on them saying which trades are where, or I don't know, something like that. Or since these guys could have multiple trades on them, which means alphabetizing them would be a bit of a nightmare, even if I can't alphabetize the villagers, maybe I could alphabetize the trades, and I could have it going part way around, you know, like I said, but I could start over here with Aqua Affinity and end on the other side after wrapping all the way around. I could end over there with, like, Unbreaking or whatever. So that's also an option. I'll probably only do maybe 1 double chest for each trade, because realistically, many of the trades like Lure or Luck of the Sea, you're not going to need a bunch of those anyway. So efficiency, you know, ones for your armor and gear, or armor and tools, those will be the ones that are more likely to need a lot of. But even so, I think a double chest is going to be plenty for now, especially. You'll be able to, even when 115 hits, you'll still be able to trade for your books. As far as I'm aware, trading for books will be more or less unimpacted in the long run. You'll be able to trade a lot for them. Right now, you'd be able to trade an obscene amount, but even then, you'll be able to trade a lot. What you're really going to need is the emeralds to do the trading. So I think I want to just get like a double chest of every enchantment, and then spend the rest of the time until 115 gets here, just trading for emeralds and bookshelves and stuff like that. Because I've gone through quite a bit of bookshelves just setting up this section here, and I still have to put bookshelves in here, on the floor above that, and then the topmost floor way up there that I haven't even built yet. It's going to be a sick amount of bookshelves, and the height is ridiculous too, so I'm going to have to do a lot of trading for emeralds and bookshelves. But I think I'm going to keep on working on this a little bit. see if I can't come up with a system maybe for the chests. And I really do like the idea of alphabetizing. There are, I believe, 37 trades, I want to say, for librarians. I'm pretty sure it's like 37 of them. And then let's see, what would it be? I think we've got 19. I think I said I had 19 of them so far, so we're about halfway through. I don't know, something like that. It's an approximate ballpark, but right now I just have the chest just sitting out there, so maybe it'd be kind of cool if I could come up with a design now and move the enchantments inside, even if the villagers have to stay out there. Another thing to keep in mind is that I want the other villager types too, so your cartographers, your leather workers, your miners, like all those types of villagers. Now most of them wouldn't really be appropriate inside the library, but the cartographers definitely would, and I might keep the clerics inside as well. All the other ones, like the fishermen and the production types, those ones I would really like to build a traveling caravan outside the library itself, down on the ground. So I may just put those villagers there eventually, but I'll need someplace temporary to keep them anyway. They will be among the villagers in here that I have to trade with. I'm just doing the book librarians first, just to get them out of the way, because their trades are significantly harder to get than any of the others, as I experienced anyway on the Wells Night server. So yeah, that's going to be quite a bit of work as well. I really wanted to do a caravan, but they've started making a caravan over on the other side of the castle, so maybe I won't do a caravan. Maybe I'll just have those villagers out here, although I feel like it might be a little, well, I guess it'd be just as unsafe outside as it is up here. This would be the safest area of Port Bray anyway, because once you go outside the wall, it gets way dangerous, you know? So even out here, they would be safe so long as they have something above their heads in case, you know, phantoms or something, I don't know. So yeah, let me keep on working at this little bit, and I'll be back in a while. So I've made a bit of a startling discovery. Maybe it was already out there, maybe it was already public knowledge, but I was blissfully ignorant. I really do mean blissfully, like emphasis on blissfully. I've just been informed that 1.15 releases tomorrow. The previous clips in this episode were recorded on Sunday, today's Monday, and tomorrow Tuesday is when it's supposed to be released. I didn't know that. I had no idea it was supposed to release tomorrow, which means we could be moving, like, updating the server to 1.15 anytime, pretty much. Maybe we'll, I think everybody's pretty much agreed that we're gonna give it about a week or so, just to make sure that any potential glaring bugs are discovered and worked out before, you know, we update, because, I mean, if this server gets lost, like, if the world gets corrupt, I mean, it's already been corrupted, you know? We've already been having problems, so we just think it's a little safer, better safe than sorry, to just give it a little bit. So it's probably going to be about a week before we update. But what that means is I am desperately running out of time to work with these beautiful faces right there. Yes, you. Yes. And you too. Yes, you're so attentive. You guys love me. Yes. Yeah. Well, you lost your jobs, but you still love me, right? Yeah? 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 You love me too? Please? Please? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Just checking. Okay. So I need to work with these villagers like crazy, not just to get their trades before things, I mean, because I don't know all of the changes to villagers. I'm trying to remain, like, cautiously less than devastated, I guess. I mean, I still firmly believe that this is going to be a massive nerf. Even if, I mean, I understand patching out the thing, like with these guys over here, where you could trade bookshelves and books back and forth for a profit. I understand patching that out. I don't really, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm going to take advantage of it while it's in the game. But obviously, I don't have a problem with that, because that is very clearly not meant to be a thing. It's more about how many times you can trade per day that I feel is going to be really bitter for, like, block trades. Villagers, it won't matter quite so much, except for, like, trading lanterns and whatnot, but we're gonna have plenty of librarians anyway. It's more like the smiths, like the masons and the weaponsmiths and stuff like that, trading things like that you would need in great quantities, like polished this block or chiseled that block or terracotta or you know, whatever. Those are the things that are really getting the nerf here, and which I really wasn't wishing wasn't gonna happen. So I need to work with these villagers a megaton and try and get as much of this done as I can before we update the server. So what that means is we're pretty much drawing to the end of the episode anyway. So instead of working on more design stuff in here, we can figure out design stuff anytime. So I think I need to put a halt on the design just for a little bit and see if I can't get all of the villagers finished before the update comes. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the episode here. I think it's been a little bit more on the short side than what we normally go for, but I think I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. Let me know down in the comments, like, what do you think about 115? Like, especially about the villager changes. Do you like the villager changes to trading? Do you dislike it? There are, of course, other things to 1.15 that I'm excited about, or at least interested about, like the bees, of course, and the honey blocks. I'm more excited about the Nether update, which is going to be 116, which is, you know, somewhere further down the road, next year sometime, I imagine. Because that's the Nether update, and that has been needed for so long. That is on the bucket list, mine and probably many other people's, about things that really have needed updates for a very long time, most eagerly anticipated, so on and so forth. So I'm really excited to see 116. And I know I think anyway, we're supposed to be getting a mountain update at some point. I guess that'd be what, 117, or I have no idea. But I'm excited about those updates, not necessarily so much about 115, but hopefully it'll be a smoother transition than I've been really thinking that it'll probably end up being. But I don't know, that'll be something we'll just have to work through. We'll just have to, you know, get through it, hold out until something comes down the road that brightens the day up. But anyway, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and call the episode here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you keep on coming back for more as we continue working with these beautiful villagers and the library. And until next time, I hope you have a fantastic time, and I will see you later.